You just got your first real paycheck, and you're staring at that number in your bank account, feeling a mix of excitement and confusion. Part of you wants to celebrate and finally buy all the things you've been putting off. But another part knows you should be responsible with this money and do something smart with it. Your parents tell you to save it, your friends are telling you to treat yourself, and the internet is screaming at you to invest in crypto or stocks or real estate. Meanwhile, you're paralyzed because you have no idea what the right move actually is. And you're terrified of making a mistake with money you worked hard to earn. Here's the truth that nobody tells you about that first paycheck. The decisions you make with it will set the pattern for every paycheck that follows. If you blow it all and start the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle, that becomes your normal. But if you make smart moves with your first paycheck, you create a foundation that can change your entire financial future. Today, I'm going to walk you through exactly what to do with your first real paycheck, step by step, so you can start building wealth from day one. Let's start by addressing the elephant in the room. You've probably been broke or barely scraping by for a while, maybe through college or just getting started in your career. And now, you finally have real money hitting your account. The temptation to spend it all is massive. Feel like you deserve to treat yourself after all the struggle. You know what? You're not wrong. You do deserve to celebrate reaching this milestone. But here's the key. You can celebrate and be smart at the same time. The goal isn't to deprive yourself of all joy. It's to make intentional decisions that balance enjoying your life now with setting yourself up for financial freedom later. So yes, you can treat yourself with a portion of that first paycheck, but we're going to make sure you're also taking care of your future self. The very first thing you need to do when that paycheck hits is resist the urge to spend it immediately. I'm serious. Just let it sit in your account for 24 hours and think about your plan. This cooling off period is important because it stops you from making impulsive decisions you'll regret. During this time, you're going to make a simple plan for that money, and once you have the plan, you'll execute it. Having a plan doesn't mean you can't enjoy any of the money. It just means you're being intentional instead of reactive. Here's the framework I want you to use for your first paycheck, and honestly for every paycheck after that. You're going to divide your money into different categories based on priorities. First priority is keeping a roof over your head and food in your stomach. That means rent, utilities, groceries, and any other essential bills. These are non-negotiable. You have to cover your basics before you do anything else. Look at your first paycheck and subtract all your essential expenses. Whatever's left is what we have to work with for building your financial foundation, and yes, for having some fun too. Now, before you invest a single dollar, you need to build a starter emergency fund. I know this sounds boring and not at all exciting, but trust me, this is the foundation everything else is built on. An emergency fund is money set aside in a savings account that you only touch when something unexpected happens. Your car breaks down, you have a medical bill, your laptop dies, whatever. The reason you need this before you start investing is simple. Without an emergency fund, the first time something goes wrong, you'll have to pull money out of your investments at the worst possible time. Or worse, you'll go into debt. Either way, it derails your wealth-building plan before it even gets started. For your first paycheck, I want you to put at least $100, or 10% of your take-home pay, whichever is bigger, into a savings account labeled emergency fund. If you can do more, great, but $100 minimum. Your goal is to eventually have $1,000 in this emergency fund as a starter, and then build it to 3 to 6 months of living expenses over time. But you don't have to do it all with one paycheck. Every paycheck you're going to add to this until you hit $1,000. Once you're there, you can redirect that money to investing while keeping the emergency fund intact for actual emergencies. After you've allocated money to your emergency fund, the next priority is investing for your future, and this is where building real wealth starts. Now, I know investing sounds complicated and intimidating, but I'm going to make this really simple. If your employer offers a retirement plan like a 401k, you need to sign up for it immediately if you haven't already, and you need to contribute enough to get the full employer match if they offer one. Let me explain what that means because this is free money you absolutely cannot pass up. Some employers will match a percentage of what you contribute to your retirement account. For example, they might match 50% of what you put in, up to 6% of your salary. That means if you make $3,000 a month and you contribute 6%, which is $180, your employer adds $90. That's an instant 50% return on your money. You will never find a better investment than that. So here's what you do. From your very first paycheck, set up your 401k contribution to at least get the full employer match. If they match up to 6%, contribute 6%. That means less money in your pocket right now. But you won't even miss it because you'll never see it in your checking account. It comes out before the money hits your account, and you learn to live on what's left. This is one of the most powerful wealth-building moves you can make. If you contribute just that 6% from your first job at age 22 through retirement at 67, with employer matching and compound growth, you could easily retire with over $1 million. That's not an exaggeration. That's basic math and compound interest working for you. If your employer doesn't offer a retirement plan, or if they don't match contributions, you need to open an IRA, which stands for Individual Retirement Account on your own. You can do this with companies like Fidelity, Vanguard, or Charles Schwab. It takes about 10 minutes online. I'd recommend a Roth IRA if you're young and in a lower tax bracket, because money grows tax-free and you won't owe taxes when you take it out in retirement. Set a goal to contribute at least 10 to 15% of your income to retirement savings, whether that's through a 401k, an IRA, or both. You might be thinking, I just got my first paycheck and you're already telling me to lock money away for retirement that's decades away. That feels impossible. I get it. Starting with your very first paycheck, even if it's just $50 or $100 going to retirement, creates a habit and a system that will make you wealthy over time. The people who wait until they're 30 or 40 to start saving for retirement have to save way more money to catch up, and most of them never do. The person who starts with their first paycheck, even with tiny amounts, builds wealth almost automatically because time and compound growth do most of the work. After you've handled your emergency fund and your retirement contributions, let's talk about debt. If you have any high-interest debt, like credit card debt or personal loans with interest rates above 7 or 8%, you need to be putting extra money toward paying that off. I'm not saying you have to throw every penny at it, but allocate something. High-interest debt is a wealth killer because it grows faster than your investments can. If you're paying 18% interest on a credit card balance, that's costing you more than you'll make investing, so make a plan to knock it out. Even an extra $100 a month toward your highest interest debt can make a huge difference. Now here's the part you've been waiting for. After you've taken care of your essentials, started your emergency fund, set up retirement contributions, and allocated something toward debt if you have it, whatever's left is money you can use more freely. Notice I didn't say spend it all. I said use it more freely. This is where you balance enjoying your life with continuing to build wealth. A good rule is to split this remaining money. Half of it can go toward things you want, things that bring you joy, whether that's going out with friends, buying something you've been wanting, or treating yourself to a nice meal. The other half should go toward additional savings or investments. For example, let's say after all your essentials and the allocations we talked about, you have $400 left. Take $200 and do something that makes you happy. You earn that money and you should enjoy some of it. The other $200, put it toward building your emergency fund faster, or investing in a regular brokerage account, or saving for a specific goal like a vacation or a car. This way you're not depriving yourself, but you're also not blowing everything and starting from zero next month. Let me give you a concrete example of what this might look like in real numbers. Let's say your first paycheck is $2,000 after taxes. Your rent and bills are $1,000. Okay, that leaves you with $1,000. You put $100 into your emergency fund. You contribute $120 to your 401k to get the employer match, which comes out before you even see the money. So really, you saw $1,000 hit your account, and you're down to $900 after the emergency fund contribution. Let's say you have some credit card debt, so you throw $100 at that. You're down to $800. Use $400 for groceries, gas, and basic living expenses throughout the month. That leaves you with $400. You take $200 and enjoy it however you want, and you put the other $200 toward additional savings or investing. That's a solid, balanced approach for a first paycheck. Now let's talk about what you should actually invest in once you've set up your retirement account. This confuses a lot of people, but it's actually really simple. In your 401k or IRA, you're going to invest in low-cost index funds. An index fund is a fund that holds tiny pieces of hundreds or thousands of companies all at once. Instead of trying to pick individual stocks and hoping you choose winners, you just buy the whole market. The most popular option is an S&P 500 index fund, which owns the 500 largest companies in America. When you invest in an S&P 500 fund, you own pieces of Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, and hundreds of other companies in one simple investment. Most retirement accounts will have a few index fund options. Look for one with S&P 500 or total stock market in the name, and make sure it has a low expense ratio, meaning low fees. You want the expense ratio to be under 0.1%, which is basically nothing. Once you pick your fund, set up your contributions to automatically invest in that fund every paycheck. You don't have to do anything else. Just let it sit there and grow for decades. Don't check it constantly. Don't panic when the market drops. And definitely don't try to time the market by moving money in and out. Just buy and hold for the long term. Here's something really important about your first paycheck and the paychecks that follow. The habits you create right now will stick with you. If you set up automatic contributions to your emergency fund, your retirement account, and your savings from your very first paycheck, it becomes normal. You won't even think about it. The money comes out automatically and you live on what's left. But if you spend every penny of your first several paychecks and then try to start saving later, it's so much harder because you've gotten used to spending everything. You'll feel like you're taking money away from yourself. Start the good habits immediately, even if the amounts are small. Let me also address lifestyle inflation, because this is a trap that catches almost everyone. Lifestyle inflation is when your spending automatically increases to match your income. You get your first job making $40,000 a year, you spend $40,000. You get a raise to $50,000. You spend $50,000. You never actually get ahead because your expenses always rise to meet your income. The way to build wealth is to resist this. When you get your first paycheck, live modestly and bank the difference between what you earn and what you need to live. When you get a raise later, don't immediately upgrade your apartment, your car, and your lifestyle. Keep living the same way and invest the raise. That's how you actually build wealth. I also want to talk about the psychology of that first paycheck. It feels like a lot of money, especially if you've been broke. But it's important to remember that this is just the first of hundreds or thousands of paychecks you'll receive over your career. You don't have to solve all your financial problems with this one paycheck. You're not going to pay off all your debt, fully fund your retirement, and buy everything you want with one check. This is the beginning of a journey. Each paycheck is a building block. The first one sets the foundation, and each one after that adds to it. One more thing that's really important. Don't compare your first paycheck situation to other people. You might see friends or people online talking about investing thousands of dollars or living these amazing lifestyles, and you feel like your first paycheck is too small to matter. It's garbage. Everyone starts somewhere, and starting small is not a problem. In fact, starting small and being consistent beats starting big and being inconsistent every single time. Focus on your own journey and your own progress. Before we wrap up, I need to remind you that everything I've shared in this video is for educational purposes only and not financial advice. I'm not a licensed financial advisor, and your personal situation is unique. Do your own research and consider consulting with professionals before making financial decisions. My goal is to give you a framework and guidance for thinking about your first paycheck wisely, not to tell you exactly what to do. So here's your action plan for your first paycheck. First, let it sit for 24 hours and make a plan. Second, cover your essential expenses like rent and bills. Third, put at least $100 or 10%, whichever is more, into an emergency fund. Fourth, set up retirement contributions to at least get any employer match or open an IRA and contribute what you can. Fifth, put extra money toward any high-interest debt. Sixth, split what's left between enjoying life and additional savings or investing. And seventh, automate as much of this as possible so it happens without you having to think about it every month. If you follow this framework, your first paycheck becomes the foundation of a wealth-building system that will serve you for your entire life. You'll look back in 10 or 20 years and realize that the smart decisions you made with that first paycheck set you on a completely different financial trajectory than your peers who blew it all.
Wow.
This isn't about depriving yourself or being perfect. It's about being intentional and balanced. You can enjoy your life and build wealth at the same time. If this video helped you figure out what to do with your first paycheck and gave you confidence to make smart decisions, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button. And if you want to keep learning about money, investing, and building financial freedom, subscribe to the channel. In the next video, I'm going to show you exactly how to grow your wealth as your income increases and what to do with every raise you get. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.